Hi and welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you end up enjoying it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate that. And let's get going on today's video. So we are going to talk about the few Oncidium types that I do have here. They all kind of are living in the same little spot here with a couple of little additions. They do sit kind of closer to my front door and this east-facing window. And there is a grow light right here that kind of shines down on them to give them some additional lighting. It is actually snowing today. We were expected to have the snow start around noon. However, it didn't start till about 3, and it's been a steady light snow here in Colorado. Hopefully, and as much as I hate snow, hopefully it'll snow enough and continue to put that precipitation down, because it has been a very, very dry winter. And when the winters are dry, we tend to have water restrictions in the spring and summer. But enough about that. Let's talk about these beauties here. So here we have the Oncastella, or Oncastelli. I'm not sure which way to say that. Let's see, this is the Wildcat Yellow King, and she is still has those blooms, and this one right here still looks nice and fresh. And then this one down here, let's see if I can get it out from under the leaf there. She's just starting to open herself up. This is one of the latest ones. She was still in bud when I repotted her a couple of weeks ago, but they are still doing fine. She is still going nice and strong, and like I showed in my Cherry Baby update video, and I'll link that down below. But this growth right here, can you see that bud? It's really starting to pop out now. And if we look at her from the front, you can really see her spreading her wings, so to speak. And then this one right next to her is doing the same thing. She doesn't have any roots on the outside of the pot, but I did kind of poke in there the other day, and she still has her roots. And those two new growths right there are still going nice and strong. But I've been keeping an eye on the flowers as well as these growths back here, because those two are going to be my first indicator of if she's starting to dehydrate, if something's going on in the pot, as well as, let's see if we can get her juicy bulbs, her big juicy bulbs. Now, I want you to keep those in mind, because next we're going to look at the Hilo Firecracker that I received from Nicole Deanna back in July, I believe. Well, look at that bulb, and look at that bulb. Those were big, fat, and juicy when I got them. So I should have done more research before I repotted her when I did. So going back to my video on what I learned in 2021 as far as getting your orchid into the media of your choice and not waiting for the right time, I feel like I definitely did not wait for the right time. So again, after doing research, of course, after the fact, she has a lot of odontoglossum in her as well, meaning probably should have waited till it was a little bit cooler to help her kind of get into her new home, because this is the growth that she came with. She had started on the bulb and has done nothing since. So she does have roots in the pot, and the way I know that is I did kind of pull on her a little bit, and she's staying in the pot. So I'm not going to disturb her anymore. If she was a lot looser, obviously I would have taken her out of the pot to see what was going on. She does have roots that she's trying to grow. I don't see any on the outside, and I do tend to keep her a lot less wet, if that's possible. Then I do the other Oncidiums. I only give her a little trickle of water on one side and then let her drain really well. And I put her in this more open pot here, which is the one that my Christmas or Thanksgiving cactus, haven't decided which one it was, but the Christmas Thanksgiving cactus that came in, and this way it dries out a lot quicker to keep that from staying wet. Hopefully in the spring she'll kind of wake up a little bit and maybe do some things for me. And I keep looking at the base of all of the pseudobulbs, really hoping for a new growth. So far nothing, but she is still, her leaves are still staying fairly firm, so she's getting some hydration. And like I said, there are some roots in there. I'm just waiting for a new growth to get those new roots going. All right, enough with the sad story. And Nicole, if you watch this, I'm so sorry. I promise I will bring her back into her full glory that you sent her to me in. We just talked about the Princess Pinot Scary in my Brookside Orchids update. So I'll just link that down below, and I'll put a tag up here somewhere for you as well. But I did measure this leaf again. It is now up to 26.5 inches, so it's grown a ½ inch since I did that video, which was roughly a week ago, maybe, give or take. And then back here, I don't know, it's the Wilsonera, what is it, Red Leather Berrylicious. And she does have that new growth right there. Let me move this leaf out of the way. Which one is it? I don't know which, oh, it's this leaf, is it? Nope, it's the leaf that I'm standing in front of. But, let's see, let me just move her around this way. She does have that new growth right there that she's working on. There is some concertining, and it's because there's very little roots in there for her, but I don't know. I don't think she's a healthy plant. I've had issues with her since I got her. Every time she grows a growth, it either is very small or it gets a rot in it and goes away. So, I don't know. I may just throw her away and start over with a different one if I can find it. And over here is the Oncidium No ID that was split and then put back together. But can you see those bulbs are swollen back up? So she has lots and lots of new growths. And yes, there's a lot of concertining in there, but that is from previous growths that didn't mature all the way. And some of the newer growths do still have that concertining, but she is working on a root system. Let's see if I can get her out of the pot. Yep, there's one there. And then she's got some right there. So she is starting to get that root system going. And she is in a moss perlite small charcoal and fir bark mixture. So she's doing her thing, and I'm just going to leave her alone until she gets really, really established. And at some point I might separate her again, but I kind of like that full specimen look to her. And of course we have the Red Fantasy that again was in the Sherry Baby update I recently did. And then there's our orange Catatante. And this is what I was talking about. She's growing towards the grow light that is right above her. So I'm hoping that she kind of straightens that spike out just a little bit. But if not, I'll let her do her thing from here on out. Because before, she was kind of growing off to the side this way. And I wanted her to be a little more upright. So she's doing really well. And then non-Oncidium that sits over here is one of the antelope type dendrobiums, and she was sold to me as a pink antelope type. But if we look at her blooms, I don't think that's pink. That looks purple to me. And I have been looking online trying to ID her, so if anyone knows which one this is, I know she's a hybrid, so it might be hard to identify her, but if you have any idea, leave it in the comments down below. I'd appreciate that. And we still have our tree up on the 31st. And my husband will probably keep it up for the rest of this week and take it down at the end of the week. He likes to do that. And then we have our, which one is this? California Dreamin', Cymbidium. That, her new growths, turn her around. Look at those new growths. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And she is in, I think, again, I repotted her into here. Where's my tag? And I can tell you. She's been in this setup since May of 2020. But from what I can remember, she's got a, let's see, she's got moss, small bark. She's got some rocks in there. I think there's some soil in there. I mean, she's just got a plethora of just things in there. I'm not sure what all is in there. Once I repot her, it'll be a surprise. Kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I'm not going to know what I'm going to get in there. But I'm not going to repot her anytime soon because, as you can see, she still has room to grow here. And if she chooses to shoot out some growths from back here, she's got room back here as well. Unless those of you who grow Cymbidium who know a little bit more about them than I do, if I need to repot her after that 2-year mark, like this spring coming up, let me know that in the comments as well. But from what I've read, they can pretty much stay in their setup until they outgrow it. And then of course we have either a Christmas or a Thanksgiving cactus, not sure which one, because she never bloomed. I bought her with a bunch of buds, but they all dried up once I got her home. So no big deal, but she is starting to fill out on this side because she was sitting up, and I kind of moved her direction, and this window, when it's open, gets a lot of natural light that she goes in. And I'm thinking once the tree comes down and I'm able to access this area again, I want to move this Tradescanthia probably into the sunroom or the cool down room, and then repot this beauty and this beauty up here into some hanging pots and let them grow in the east facing window. Let me pause it for a second. I'm going to take you over to see this one here. I know it's not an Oncidium, but I want to show you her bloom and how pretty it is from looking at it underneath. One second. All right, this one is just opening, but do you see how much prettier it is looking at it from this way as opposed to, well, I'm too short, I can't get on top of it, but I moved her up here so that I could enjoy the blooms, which that one's going over, but we've got more buds here to open up. And then also, let me take the zoom off. Also, I have a question. For those of you who have the Oncidium Twinkle, this one here is the Fragrance Fantasy. Now, during the day, she smells like vanilla, like cooking vanilla. But I just took a whiff of her, and she kind of has a soapy smell to her. Do you guys find that with your Oncidium Twinkles? Do they change scents throughout the day? Or is it just my nose might be changing throughout the day? Again, leave it in the comments below. I'd appreciate that. And for those of you who know about Amaryllis, again, I'm doing my research, but look at the growth on that. That was done a couple of weeks ago, and there was nothing in the growth. This is one of those kit things. Look how much she's grown. And look, I think these are flower buds because these are definitely leaves, but these look like flower buds. Let me know what you think. Just gorgeous. All right, well guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I know this is supposed to be about my Oncidiums, and I threw some other things in there, but you know, it's Shiny Object Day. Let's just call it that. Again, go ahead and give the video a like, subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next one. Hope everyone's having a great 2022 so far.